What happens when you don't use a filter for your air conditioning system? Today I'm going to show you what happens when you don't use a filter. So this right here is the indoor coil, and you can see that right in here it's pretty much blocked over solid with dirt, dust. I asked the homeowner why this coil was so dirty, and they said that when they moved in, there was no filter upstairs, and that's where the return box goes, and there's a 20 by 20 return and a 20 by 20 filter. They've got a filter in there, so they're being responsible. They're taking care of the filtration, but when you don't have a filter, the dust that comes from the house goes in the return, goes in the side of the furnace, goes up through the supply, goes through the coil, and it gets in there. Now, this is a Bryant furnace, and I had a code, and it was 13, limit circuit lockout. So that means the limit switch is opening. That's the limit switch. Why was it opening? Because it was overheating, getting too hot. And that's why, not enough airflow. So we're going to take this coil out today. We're going to take it outside and we're going to clean it. Then we're going to put it back in. You're watching HVAC Tips for Technicians / Homeowners. I'm Tad. Let's get started. I'm going to pump all the refrigerant into the outdoor unit. I'm going to cut these lines, pull this coil out, take it outside, clean it, bring it back in, put these lines back together, and then release the refrigerant. So I'm going to take you along for the ride. All right, I'm going to show you what happens when you do not have a filter in place. You see all this? Watch. Look at all that dust. Look at all this. Look at that. See all that dust? That'll cause that board to go bad. That'll cause that indoor motor to go bad. So please use a filter. To get the coil out, gotta take the drain loose. And then I'm going to take this vent pipe loose, and I'm actually going to cut the vent pipe and make it to where it's shorter right here. Why? Because let me show you something. See this? This is touching the PVC. This gets super hot, so we don't need it touching PVC. Okay? So I could either lift this up, but I'm not going to do that because it needs fall. So I'm just going to lower this. That way it's not touching. All right? Get this out of the way. All right, now I can get that coil out. Let's go out. Now we got to pump the refrigerant into the outdoor unit because I don't see a need in using a recovery machine and having to recover the refrigerant. That's just going to take much longer, and you might not be able to get all the refrigerant out anyways, so we're just going to pump it down. Now, if you're asking yourself the question, what is the best brand? Well, it's a brand that has pressure switches. Check this out. Look inside. On the suction or the discharge, there's no pressure switches. Why? Why do you need a pressure switch? What if the refrigerant leaks out and the compressor's running without refrigerant? There goes your compressor. So I don't know why Bryant wouldn't put a pressure switch on the suction line for the low pressure and the discharge line high pressure. I don't understand. It doesn't cost that much. It wouldn't take that much time. Come on, man. All right, so how are we going to do this? We're going to use our service valve wrench, right? We're going to close our liquid line service valve. It's going to be pretty easy. Going to do this right here. Close it down. Why are we doing this? Because the refrigerant flows from the vapor line here into the system, and then it goes into the compressor, out of the discharge line, into the condenser, and then out through the liquid line. So whenever we close the liquid line, the compressor is going to pull all that refrigerant, or pump all that refrigerant, into the unit. Now, I can't use this for this one, okay? It won't work. You could use Allen tools, but that's going to take a while, right? Because you have to go, So what did I do? I got an 8mm hex bit socket. Look at that. Look at that. Super simple. Check out the link. You can get one too. I'll put this in here. I'll just break it loose. That way I'm ready. Now, you can give it a call for cooling, or you can push the contactor in. Watch the pressures. Once they go to 0, then I'm going to close the suction line service valve. Almost there, 25, 20. And because we don't have a pressure switch, we don't have to jump that out. You know? It's not going to kick the unit off. Almost there. You hear the compressor? Alright, I'm going to go ahead and close it. Almost there. Man. Come on. Closed. All right. Now, so that the unit doesn't kick back on, breaker off. And now our refrigerant is pumped into the outdoor unit. Super simple. Get one of these. I got this at O'Reilly's. Power Torque. GM8172. And I think it's 8mm, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. H8. This is so awesome. I love it. All right, let's go inside and cut the copper lines to the indoor coil and go ahead and pull it out. We're going to be using the RLS tool. That way we make this a lot simpler, a lot quicker. When you open it up, I got the rigid tubing cutters inside the kit, and then I've got some cloth so I can clean up that copper. I've got the insulation stripped away from where I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to go ahead and take this right here. And I'm just going to clean this copper up. Man, that's much shinier. This is 7/8 right here. I don't know why they use 7/8. You don't need 7/8 for a 3-ton unit. Anything 3.5 ton and above needs 7/8 for a suction line or vapor line. But for a 3-ton, you should be using 3/4 and 3/8. I don't know why. There's no telling. You know, I don't know who installed this unit, but they didn't really do the best job. But we're going to take care of the customer. We're going to get this coil cleaned. And the customer actually asked me when I went up there and told them the problem. They said, "Do we need a new unit?" I was like, "No, you don't need a new unit. Your unit's brand new. You just need to have it cleaned. That's it." You know? Somebody who wanted to take advantage of the customer in that moment, you could have took advantage of that customer. You could have said, "Yeah, you need a new unit." Me, I don't believe that if anything's working, I don't believe in replacing it. You know, I'd much rather, and I've said this in many of my videos, I'd much rather fix the equipment, repair it, than replace it, because you have more problems with new equipment than you do old equipment. All right. Okay. Had to get that hunk of smooth sock out of my throat. All right, that copper is clean. We need to make sure it's as straight as possible too. All right, see that? We're going to cut it there and there. So we'll take our tubing cutters, cut it right here. Look at that coil's about to come out. We need to get some black tape, that way we can close up these holes. I don't want nothing getting in inside the copper. Oh, see, didn't have much refrigerant in there, just a little bit, barely any. Now, I love these rigid tubing cutters, man. Check out the link if you guys want to get a set of these tubing cutters. They're so nice. And this will be enough room on each side for us to use that RLS tool. All right, now we can pull the coil out. I can get a better view of it. And it's so light because it's micro channel. But here's a fact. This coil, having that dirt and that debris on there, it would not have lasted long. You could probably have this on here for a year, maybe 2. Guarantee it would eat a hole in this coil and it would be leaking. Now, take a look. This is the reason this unit was overheating. Look at that. Look at that. It's completely covered. That is no bueno. We're gonna make this coil great again, guys. I'm gonna get some tape up these lines. Let's bring it outside, use that coil cleaner and get it cleaned. Make sure you use the right coil cleaner. Not all coil cleaner is suitable for microchannel coils. So you want to make sure you use something like Tri-Pow'r HD. Link right here. Get you some of this. And this says here, ideal for microchannel coils. This is a detergent, degreaser, and deodorizer. So it's going to smell good. Isn't that lovely? All right, so we're going to use the coil gun because I don't like pre-mixing. And this pre-mixes for me. I mean, wait, I don't like pre-mixing. Wait, this is a pre-mixer, basically. So I love the coil gun. It's very nice. So we're just going to put this in here. We don't need much because, of course, it's just an itty-bitty coil. Just put the top on here like this. Link right here for the coil gun. Go get one. These are great. We're just going to attach this to our coil gun after we attach this to our water hose. Let's go get it. All right, now we'll just let that set. Let that set. Just used a bunch of coil cleaner on that. All right. What's happening here? Still going. All right, you can cut it. This side's looking pretty good now, other than all those marks right there, and right there, and then right there. But that's okay, as long as it's not leaking. Maybe somebody tried to clean this before me, but they didn't do a very good job. That's okay though. We're here now. Super Tatty's here. All right, let's get the other side. That looks a lot better. Now maybe the coil will last a little bit longer. clean that pan up. This is why you always use a filter. Look at that. That's dirty. All right. This piece right here. It's almost ready. All right. If you've never used the RLS tool, check out this video right here where I use the RLS tool. I don't use this a lot, but man, it's so convenient. So what I'm going to do is mark the pipe because we've already prepped it. So right there, and then my 3/8. Why do we mark it? We want to make sure that when we use this tool, we get the fittings pressed in there correctly. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I should have enough room to be able to use the RLS tool with both these fittings put together. All right, you want to push it in past your mark. Why is this one not going in there? Oh, there it goes. Okay, so we're good on that. And we're good on that. Now, we're going to do a 7/8 first. Yeah, we should be good. All right, before we use it, get it calibrated. Here's our 7/8. Turn this piece right here, take this jaw out, 3/8, connect it, calibrated, it's on there. Make sure it's on there. All right. Now to make sure that we got a good crimp, our crimp gauge. All right. So 7/8, 7/8, 7/8, 7/8, 3/8, 3/8, 3/8, 3/8. You should be able to see RLS, which we see it. Now we're going to do a nitrogen pressure test, put some soap bubbles on these connections here, and then we're going to do a vacuum process. So then we're going to put it all back together and fire it up. Let's go. We got about 300 pounds of pressure on the system, and this is pressure nitrogen inside the line sets and the indoor coil. So that's my nitrogen 40 tank and my regulator. And now I'm going to get the soap bubbles and go inside. And make sure there's no leaks. And then put some new insulation on there. Connecting the pump. Go ahead and plug in the little cord, the little adapter cord. We're taking the power from the contactor, and I've got one of the coil wires off the contactor so it doesn't energize the compressor. So I should be able to just flip that on, flip that on. pull that vacuum, and then we'll open these valves back up, test the cooling, test the heating, make sure everything works. Vacuum pump is done. So I'm going to close the valves. Looks like the homeowner's got a dog. So that's good. I'm glad it's friendly. A little advice for you, if you don't know the dog, don't try to reach down and pet it. Don't step over it. All right, pump off. All right, disconnect it. Turn the breaker off. Remove our cord. I haven't posted the video yet, but I did make this cord for tail. And this is a way for us to get power out of the disconnect if it's hard to get an extension cord, or you just can't get an extension cord because there's not a receptacle close by. I'll eventually post that video. Let me know if you want me to post that video. All right, let's open up the valves. Always open the vapor line first, or the suction line service valve first. All right, here we go. Did he just lick the camera? Yeah, I think he just licked the camera. He's thirsty. He's a thirsty little guy. All right, I'm gonna open this one too. You ever seen somebody do that? I bet you didn't know that. You could do that, man. It's a double action. Double wielding. All right. All right, they're both open. All right. Caps back on. Coil wire back on.
Charlie.
Breaker back on. Good to go. All right, cooling's working, heating's working. Make sure you check the filter. Make sure there's a filter inside. If there's not, check the indoor coil. If you saw my video on the limit switch opening, where we took out the heat exchanger and it was busted and the secondary heat exchanger was stopped up, you see that that's another thing that happens when you don't use a filter. Or maybe your return isn't sealed properly and it's pulling in dust from in the crawl space or maybe in the basement. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. Here's a link. If you want to know how to charge a unit using superheat and subcooling method, check out this link right here. I've also put some links for some tools I use down in the description, and I also put some links for some other videos that will help you to learn. If you want more videos like this, check out my playlist, HVAC Tips for Technicians. I've got hundreds of videos to help you to be a better technician in the field. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, smash that bell, ding, so you know what I'm doing. You've been watching HVAC Tips for Technicians / homeowners. I'm Tad, and I'll keep you cool if you let me.